We finished talking about a little bit ago that the door of trouble can become a way of hope for us. And Hosea chapter 2 is an interesting chapter. Verse 15 says, and Hosea is talking here, and he's talking about, Israel had been through terrible struggles spiritually, acting like their neighbors and serving Baal and wickedness. And so Hosea says this. He's talking about a time when God's going to wonderfully bless His people. He says, I will give her vineyards from there, and the valley of Achor as a door of hope. And what he was saying is things are going to be so great in Israel one day that the very valley where Achan was stoned, the very valley, this valley of trouble is going to become a door of hope. You know what I've realized in life? That every time a Christian goes through the valley of trouble, there is a door of hope. Isn't that great? The Lord loves us. You know that we have no greater cheerleader in our lives than God. Isn't that something? He loves us that much. Well, Dave Dravecki, the pitcher who broke his arm and had cancer, he wrote this. I met with Dr. Brennan and told him I was ready for my arm to come off. I went back into surgery, and the next day after surgery, I went into the bathroom, and the image that stared back from the mirror horrified me. The incision started from my neck and went down my underarm. My arm was gone. My shoulder was gone. The left side of my collarbone was gone. He said, but for the first time in my life, I had peace. Sometimes as a Christian, there has to be surgery, as we've chronicled tonight, and sometimes that surgery needs to be drastic. But what David realized, he put all of his faith in his arm, and that wasn't where he could find peace in life. He said he didn't know when he got home how his kids would react. He didn't know if his son would feel awkward or if his little girl would ever want to hug him because of the way he looked. But he said when he got home, they came and they threw their arms around him, and they said they were so glad to see their daddy. They weren't interested in his arm. They were interested in him. I want to say tonight, if there is something that stands between you and God and your life is broken and it's a mess, the reason we are here in this invitation is because there is a door of hope. The very Lord that sent His only begotten Son to die for you, you know what? He wants you back. He really does. I think back to Luke chapter 15. There that son, his life was broken. It was a mess. And the Bible says he came to himself. And he said, I will arise and go to my Father. And say, Father, I've sinned against heaven and in your sight. I'm no longer worthy to be called your son. And he comes back to his father. And what's his father say? Boy, do you know how bad you've been? Do you know how bad you've hurt your mother and me? Is that what he said? The young son found a door of hope. Put a robe on him, a ring on his fingers, sandals on his feet, killed the fattened calf. And so what is it God trying to tell us there? What's He trying to tell us? That if we have strayed away and our life is a mess and is broken, what He's trying to tell us is, we want you back. We want you back. But God, don't you know what I've been doing out there? We want you back. Don't you know how bad I've hurt other people? We want you back. Don't you know how badly I've hurt you? We want you back. That's God's message to you tonight. If you've wandered away and you say, well, Paul, in my heart, in my mind, I feel like I'm a million miles away from the Lord. I've drifted. Will you come back tonight? The Lord wants you back. He has prepared heaven for you, awaiting for you right now. Nothing would make Him happier. Nothing would make the angels more happy. Come back to Him right now as we stand and as we sing.